Melody! I found a beautiful house just for us. That house here! First, I'm folding some paper pieces. I'm making a little pink box. Let's add a shelf inside. Now I'll put on the doors. So cute! I'm adding handles and a Hello Kitty sticker. Wow! Let's open my mini fridge and I'm putting tiny sodas inside. Yum! Look at my finished fridge. Isn't it cool? Here's Hello Kitty. She loves her new kitchen. Next, I'm stacking cardboard pieces together. I'm wrapping it in bright pink paper. Now I'm adding drawers and a tiny oven. Let's put on some shiny gold knobs. Wow! Now for a sink on top. I'll add a pretty shiny faucet. Time to play with some clay! I'm cutting the clay into a square. A little red bow makes it perfect. And we can't forget her whiskers. I'll add a gold ring and a handle. Yay! It's all done! Let's put the new counter in the kitchen. Now I'm making a table shaped like a big red bow. I'll put a golden stand on the bottom. Let's put the bow table in the kitchen. Perfect! Lisa, use this clay. Okay. Time to make some chairs. I'm making a yellow seat with a fun pattern. The back of the chair is a Hello Kitty face. Let's add her eyes, nose, and whiskers. I'll add some cute flower feet. Here is the first finished chair. I made 2 chairs. Let's set the table. Hello Kitty table and chairs are so pretty. Hooray! The Hello Kitty kitchen is finished. Next, I'm making a tall black box. It's going to be a Kuromi clock. I'll add her face and a sparkly collar. And a shiny pendulum that swings. Here's my Kuromi doll next to her cool new clock. Now let's make a purple sofa. I'm folding the cardboard into a corner shape. And I'll add some little pink feet. Time to make soft cushions! I'm using fluffy cotton and polka dot fabric. One little pillow is done. I'll make more cushions for the whole sofa. Look, a comfy corner sofa for my dolls. Let's put my new sofa in the living room. I'll add a cool pink skull table. Spoopy. Now I'm hanging up some cute Kuromi pictures. Wow, the living room is all decorated. Lisa, give me this cardboard. Okay. And now I'll put on the second floor. My dollhouse is getting so big. Hello Kitty is going to help me build a bed. I'm making a pink box for the mattress. Now I'll draw a Hello Kitty head on cardboard. I'm cutting out the shape with my little knife. Let's add lots of fluffy cotton. I'm covering it all with soft white fabric. Yay! A soft Hello Kitty headboard. I'll add her big eyes and yellow nose. And a pretty red bow. So cute! I'm giving her some rosy pink cheeks. And we can't forget her whiskers. Let's put the headboard in the bedroom. Now I'm making a soft pink blanket. I'm adding a sweet strawberry ribbon. Her bed is ready for a nap. Next, I'll make Kuromi's bed. I'm making a pretty purple floral blanket for her. It has lots of pretty lace and ribbon. Now for a fluffy Kuromi headboard. Let's add her cute face and ears. She looks so mischievous and sweet. I'll add a pink skull and 2 purple bows. Yay! Both beds are finished now. Time to make a little wardrobe for their clothes. It has a little rack to hang things. Look at all the tiny, sparkly dresses. I'll put the closet right next to the bed. Now I'm making a little black vanity table. Let's add a mirror shaped like a bat. I'll put a tiny purse and perfume bottle on it. And a sparkly purple stool to sit on. Hooray! The bedroom is all done! Now for the best part, filling the pools. The water is a beautiful blue color. My Hello Kitty and Kuromi dollhouse is complete. Then they're not drains, Mireya said, breath fogging the air. They're weirs. She laid her palm on a panel. A faded hum rose in answer, a machine waking with fragile politeness after a long sleep. In the hum was a memory of something like laughter, and behind that, a shadow whispered. The Asterloom's hunger had reached even here. A library carved in night inside the spire, a passage sloped downward into dark. Zephyra lit a coal oil lamp that made the walls glitter with frozen dust. The corridor opened into a room shaped like a bowl. At its center stood a pedestal with a sphere of black glass. The glass held stars inside itself, constellations arranged in patterns not known in Bastille. The queen had told Mireia stories of the Archivarium, a myth of a library not of books, but of skies, a place where the histories of night were recorded. Mireia stepped close. The sphere brightened. Threads within shifted, aligning with the stars above the spire. The hum in the walls opened like a door. For a dizzy instant, Mireia saw everything. 7 streams weaving, the loom's prongs biting, light pulled thin, hearts cooling across the city, lamps that would not catch despite kindling because the world itself was less inclined to burn. The vision contracted to fit her skull. She staggered. Lisa steadied her, quiet as always. "What do we do?" Mireia swallowed. "We need to give back what we've taken, not just stop taking, return." She touched her chest. "My heart is a bridge." Corvin said it once when he thought I slept. Vale knows it too. He wants to tune his loom to my tick so it pulls efficiently. She lifted her chin. "We will tune it to return efficiently instead." Zephyra whistled. "Break into a tower guarded by a man who believes he owns the sky? I like the ambition." Pip traced the control panel symbols with a grease-blotched thumb. "If we can link these old return weirs to his loom, we can push the light back along the path it came." "Can my heart survive that much traffic?" Mireia asked Corvin. He did not answer at once. "If we do nothing," he said finally, "the city dims. The streams tangle. In a few months, people in alleys will sleep and not wake. In a year, Bastille's fires will cook, not warm. And if we act, your heart may run down. It may stop." He straightened. But the thornless escapement was made to avoid a thing. Friction that eats itself. "We will do everything to carry the load. We will not let you burn alone." Mireia closed her eyes. Behind her lids, she felt 2 pulses, blood and brass, animal and instrument. She opened them to find the room watching, Lisa ready to put her body between Mireia and any harm, Pip ready to crawl into places no man with sense would fit, Zephyra eager for a fight that meant more than coin, Corvin already calculating solutions with a pencil that never dulled because he sharpened it with his own teeth. "Then we return," she said. "Ah, the siphon crown." The laughing gale ran with the wind like a knife. Zephyra's crew sang work songs that made even Lisa's mouth twitch. As they approached Bastille, the tower by the docks flashed its prongs as if sniffing. Zephyra shaded her eyes. "He's added something on top," she said. "A ring like a diadem." Corvin hissed. "A siphon crown. He means to focus the whole stream on a single point." They all knew the point he wanted, Mireia's clock. They landed at night on a roof 2 streets from the tower. Pip and Corvin vanished into ductwork. Zephyra coiled lines with a pirate's religious neatness. Lisa checked her sword. Mireia stared at the city moving in sleep. Tram bell, distant cough, a baby's thin wail. The hush of snow falling late in the season because the sky could not remember how to time itself. They crossed to the tower's base in shadows and grit. The first guards they met were not men, but machines, brass stalkers with glass eyes. Mireia knelt by one, touched its ankle. "Sorry," she whispered, and her heart ticked a pattern. "Stand down, sleep." The stalker's eyes dimmed to sit. Lisa raised brows. "You could order me, and I would not mind," she murmured. Mireia snorted. "As if you'd listen." Inside, Vale's assistants were fewer than expected. Those who remained had the frayed look of people who had argued with their consciences until their consciences slept.
One startled at the sight of the princess and ran. Another did not. He put hands up and said, "It is ugly work, Highness, building beauty from blood." He let them pass. On the catwalk near the crown, Vale waited. He had added a third lens to his diadem. Thin wires ran from the crown's prongs to a chair with restraints. "We are both punctual," he said, "and brave." "No," Mireia said, "only responsible." Vale's gaze flicked to her chest. "Your heart is not yours. It belongs to the city, to the species, to progress. Sit, and I will make your life mean more than any princess's has ever meant." "You talk as if meaning is a number," Mireia said, "as if we add enough tallies and call it good. Meaning is how we wind ourselves to others without grinding them down." Vale looked almost sincere. "What of those who freeze in alleys? This loom could warm them. What of the children in factories? This loom could shorten their shifts. What are a few dim stars against that?" "The stars are not candles to snuff at supper for romance," Mireia said softly. "They are part of the breath of everything, and we share that breath. You cannot choke the sky and expect the city to sing." Vale flinched, then straightened. "Philosophy is the luxury of the well-fed." He touched a lever.
So cute.
Brass stalkers woke at his back, lenses bright. Zephyra swore. Lisa stepped in front of Mireia. From the shadows, Pip's voice traveled like a thrown tool. "Now!" The tower lurched. Somewhere below, a gate opened that Vale did not know existed, the conduit from the polar spire. Corvin had bridged the old weir to the new loom. On the crown above them, the prongs shuddered, confused, receiving not hunger but return. Vale stared. His hands flew, trying to retune. "Do you know what you are doing?" he demanded. "Giving back what we stole," Mireia said. She sat in the chair before anyone could stop her and strapped her own wrists. "Listen," she told the machine, and then she told it, and then the return. Mireia's clock ticked a pattern ancient as lullabies and simple as a miller's song. The aster loom, made of will and teeth, did not understand at first. It strained against the new rhythm like a horse against reins. "Easy," Mireia whispered, and her heart's brass teeth kissed the tower's teeth, and they learned to turn together. Light poured through her. It came chilled and thin, aliased by mechanisms that valued quantity over quality. Her heart warmed it as wind warms a sail. The return weir at the polar spire breathed out. The sky over Bristile breathed in. The smudges on the firmament lightened a shade. "Stop," Vale said, not to Mireia, but to the machine. He fed it different commands. It did not listen. It liked, for the first time since its birth, being part of a loop. Pip and Corvin ran the catwalks, opening and throttling gates. Zephyra's crew kept the few loyal assistants away from levers they should not touch. Lisa faced the brass stalkers. She could not command them, but she could break joints. She did so with clean economy. "Apologies," she told them under her breath as she took one down at the knee. Mireia felt her human heart drum faster, trying to keep pace, trying to carry what her clock could not. The spring inside the brass heart stretched toward what it could not hold. Corvin had warned her. A spring remembers harm. She bit the inside of her cheek to anchor herself. Blood salted her tongue. Her mother's voice sounded in her head, Sabine, who taught her that we do not win against the sky. We join it well or poorly. Vale tore off his diadem. He looked smaller without it, merely a clever man with a fear of dying ordinary. He looked at the sky and saw the smudges fading. He looked at the princess and saw sweat freezing at her hairline because the tower's height and the winter's wind did not care about mortal debates. He looked at Corvin, who had built a heart as tender as a hand. "Damn you all," he said hoarsely. He seized a lever meant to choke the return gate. Zephyra reached him first. She did not kill him.
So cute.
She was a pirate with rules. She took the lever back, and Vale, thrown off balance, went down hard. Something in him gave with a thud missed by everyone except Mireia, whose inner ear had been tuned to such failures by years among machines. Vale, stunned, stared at the underside of his own tower. He found he did not like it. "Help me," he said to no one in particular. To his surprise, someone did. Pip grabbed his arm and shoved him toward a safer place. "Not for you," Pip grunted. "For the work, for the city, for the chance you'll stop being an idiot." Vale swallowed. He put his clever hands to valves meant for returning, not robbing. He steadied a flow he had meant to intensify. He did not speak. He acted. The sky accepted. The city's lamps adjusted down of their own accord. The Asterloom's teeth found a tempo that did not grind. Mireia's brass heart rang, now sweet, now strained. The spring stretched another fraction, then held. "Enough," Corvin panted. "Enough, princess." He looked at gauges weeping with frost. "Enough, or you will tear." Mireia listened inward. Her blood beat ragged. Her clock beat thin. She stepped down, not from the chair but from the need to do it all herself. "Lisa," she said, voice cracked, "take my place." Lisa blinked, startled. "I have no clock." "You have steadiness." Mireia took Lisa's hand, pressed it to the housing. "Follow the rhythm. Give back what you can.
So beautiful.
I'll share what you can't carry." Lisa's jaw flexed, then set. She had never failed to keep alive. She would not now. She leaned into the machine with a soldier's patience, and the loom, at last, listened to something that was neither hunger nor brilliance, discipline. The return completed, not perfectly, but enough. The smudges thinned into memory. The stars over Bastille were not as bright as before Vale's first switch, but they were bright enough. The city exhaled a long winter breath that did not gutter. Mireia's knees gave. Corvin caught her. Inside her chest, the brass spring unwound into a slow, sane tick. He closed the little window and buttoned her coat with shaking fingers. Vale slumped against a post, hands black with grease, eyes red. "I never wanted to be a villain," he said to the catwalk. "I wanted to be remembered." "You will be," Zephyra said dryly, "as the engineer who learned late and still helped." He shut his mouth on argument. It tasted of metal. The wager of years. Mireia's clock did not return to the old easy tick. It carried a new memory of load. Some mornings she woke to a spring that felt fragile as spun sugar. Some nights she woke to a spring that felt fiercer than a wound. She learned to live by a ledger not of coin, but of capacity. She said yes less often. She taught her city to do the same. The king expanded laws curbing shifts and soot. He made the guild put returns into their designs, whether they liked it or knitted their brows and muttered about feeble monarchs. He expanded school hours
cute.
and shortened mill hours. He collected stray dogs and found they made him braver. The observatory built a chorus of clocks, tuned not to Mireia, but to the average heart of the city, so no one person carried the tempo alone. At noon, the city listened together to the sum of bakers' beats and sailors and widows and children learning long division and old men whispering over chessboards. It made the trams run smoother. It made the nights feel held. There were days Mireia could not climb the observatory's stairs. On those days, the city brought starlight to her, an old woman who had walked from the river with a mirror polished by 3 generations, a boy from Mill 12 who could whistle wind in wires, Zephyrah's crew whose patches caught light better than most banners, Lisa, who never let a sword or a burden make her careless, Corvin, who had made her heart with the care of a father who knows he is making something that will outlast him and who hopes he is wrong. "Do you regret it?" people asked, eyes on the small window just visible under her lapel. "Letting the loom tune to you? Returning the light?" Mireia thought of the boy's warm hand, of Vale's silence when he finally listened, of the smudges fading from the sky. "I regret only what I did too late," she said. She married someone who did not fear the small, persistent chance of loss. Stories argue about names. Some say a quiet physician, some a musician who disliked crowds. Some say she did not marry at all but kept a promise to herself to never make someone else carry her gears. All 3 are partly true and none is quite accurate. What matters is that she loved and was loved steadily. She had children or she had apprentices. It depends on which record you trust, and she taught them to wipe their hands on rags before they touched fine metal, and to say thank you to machines because gratitude lubricates just as well as oil. On the night the stars sang years later, a winter arrived worse than the one when Mireia was born. Rivers stiffened early. Smoke froze near the eaves. The 7-fold stream braided tight as rope. The observatory's chorus of clocks chattered themselves to courage. The aster looms returned. Weirs were ready. But the sky needed more than readiness. It needed an invitation. "Once more," Corvin said, white in beard now. "Once more, princess." Mireia laughed softly. "I haven't been a princess in a long while." She put on her oldest coat, the one with a patch on the elbow where she'd leaned over a sick boy. She climbed to the tower with Lisa and Pip and Zephyrah and half the city at their backs, because by then Brastile had learned that repair is public work. They tuned the loom to the chorus, not to Mireia alone. The crown's teeth turned like a mill wheel under a kind river. The return sang through the polar spire gates. The sky darkened to true dark, velvet and deep. And then the stars came back in a rush that tasted like iron and grapefruit, and the moment after grief when breath returns on its own. People cried for reasons they could not sort or did not need to. The asterloom hummed a chord it had never played, and the stars did something no one remembered them doing. They sang back,